Good morning, students. My voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I start the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the previous session, I will discuss about different control statements. Then today, I will discuss about function. What is function? What are the advantages for function? How to define the function? So let us. What is function? Coming to the first slide. The function is a block of code in a program which performs a particular task. That means the function is a self-containing block. Within the block, you can perform all operations. Generally, in C, a large problem is divided into smaller problems, and for each small problem, you can write a function to solve it. This approach of solving problem is known as top-down approach. So, for suppose you can find out factorial of any number. So, in that time, the total logic can be right in the main function. So in that time that is more complex, you can reduce that particular complex. So in that time you can use function. The same code can be reused. So that purpose you can use we can use functions so easily you can solve the problem. In such cases, you can use functions. So coming to the next slide, a function is generally like a black box which accepts data input and produce output. In most of the cases, the user does not know what is going on inside the function. So, for suppose you can see the function in the time the internal process is not displayed. For example, you can see the car. So in that time, you can see only color of the car and brand of the car, but you don't know the capacity of engine, the fuel capacity. Okay, same way the function is also. Then the next one is types of functions. In generally, the functions can be divided into two categories. So first one is predefined or library functions. Another one is user-defined functions. The predefined functions means any programming language. Okay. Generally, the functions are two types. One is predefined functions, and the one is user-defined functions. So the predefined functions means Any programming language, they define some set of functions. That functions is called as predefined functions. The example for predefined functions is printf, scanf, getch, getchar. Okay, all are the predefined functions. So what is user defined function? User can create our own function is called as user defined functions. The best example for user defined function is main function. In C programming language, every program they include main function. The main function is the best example for user defined function. నా వాయిస్ వినపడుతుందండి? హలో,
Yes, sir.
వినపడుతుందండి? Okay. Coming to the next one, need for functions. Why you are using functions? So the first point is supports top-down modular programming. So the top-down modular programming is very helpful because in the entire main, they including lot of information. In that time, the compiler, the total information is converted into zeros and ones. It is very difficult. So the entire program can be divided into more than one part. So it is easy to convert zeros and ones. So based on that reason, the functions is very helpful to execute the program in more and more faster. The second one is the length of the source program will be reduced. By using functions, the length of the program is very low because or suppose the same code can be used in multiple times without using function, the particular program length is very high. Or suppose you can use functions, the entire code can be used in multiple times. So the particular length is, the code is reusable. So that is the last advantage. Another one is it will be easy to locate and isolate errors. Or suppose you can use functions, so the entire code can be reduced. So the code length is very low, easily you can find out the debugs. That is the another advantage. So the next one is how to implement functions. So once you can implement function, you know two main points. One is function declaration, and the one is function definition. The function declaration, the best example is you can see the car. So not entering into the car, before that you can see only the car structure and essential features. Okay, same way function declaration. The function declaration contains the return type, function name, and parameter list. This can also call as function prototype. That means once you can use functions in your program, in that time first you can define what are the values can be written to the function. The another one is function name. Then what are the what are the different types of data variables you can use that can be defining function declaration. So another one is function definition. The function definition is indicates what are the operations can be performed within the function that can be indicates function definition. The function definition contains the actual logic of the function, the body. Within the body, you can perform all the operations. So the calling function is nothing but function declaration. The called function is nothing but function definition. The calling function, the point at which the function is being called is known as calling function. The called function, the function that is called is known as called function. So another one is actual parameters. In the functions, they containing two different types of parameters. One is actual parameters and the one is formal parameters. The actual value that are passed in the calling function are known as actual parameters. In the function declaration, you can use some parameters. That particular parameters is called as actual parameters. So another one is formal parameters. The temporary values that are used in So simply you can assign name of the function follows argument. In the time, need not to mention return type because the return type is void. Void means there is no return values. Okay. In some cases, you can use void need not to mention return type. So there is no return type. That means you can use the particular function can use void. Okay. In that time, the cursor is entering into the calling function. After that, immediately the function can move to function definition. That means called function. So once the cursor is entering into the call function, the parameter values can pass into the function definition. Okay. In that time, A and 10 and 20 are actual parameters. So A and B are formal parameters. Okay. Every time the actual parameter information pass into the formal parameters. So the 10 value is assigned to A, the 20 value is assigned to B. So after that is entering into the body of the function, then you can perform the operation. The operation is A into B. A value is 10, B value is 20. The final result is 200. 200 can be printed. So after that, again the cursor is entering into the next statement of the calling function. Then you can execute the remaining statements of functions, the main function, then terminate it. Okay. So what are the different types of functions? So based on the arguments, based on the arguments and return values, the functions can be classified into four. The first one is function without arguments and without return values. There is no return values. There is no arguments. That is one type of function. Another one is the function with arguments without return values. That means the function they containing some set of parameters. There is no return values. Another one is the function with arguments with return values. The function having the both return value or arguments. The argument is nothing but parameters. So another one is and with return values. So C programming language they contain some. So C type, math, stdio, std library, string. You can perform all string handling functions. At that time you can use this particular like string.h header file. That string.h header file including the more number of string handling functions. You can find out the string length str, len. You can reverse the given string strrev. So you can combine two strings, string concatenation. All functions are relevant to this particular header file. Math.h, all mathematical operations. You can find out square root, sqrt. You can find out the cosine, sine. So all relevant information can be included in math.h, stdio.h. All input output relevant functions can be included in this particular header file. Okay, these are the some relevant library predefined functions. 2 lower, 2 upper is all from you can find out ASCII values. So all are the predefined functions. So in the time you can use return type is integers, seal, floor, cos, sine, tan, expression, all are the mathematical functions. Power, square root, absolute values, exponents, you can find out exponents, tan, sine, cos, some of the string handling functions, get C, put C, can scan the character, put C means you can read the character, get char means you can read the character, char you can write the character, get S by using get a string. So another function is exit. You can terminate the particular function or file. So these are the CLOC, MLOC, realloc, free. All are the dynamic memory allocations. So the most of the times you can use static memory allocation. Okay, in the time you can waste a lot of memory. So you can overcome these problems. You can use dynamic allocation by using CLOC, MLOC, realloc. So all are used for the dynamically you can allocate the memory. It means in the running time before compilation you can assign the memory that is called as static. After compilation you can execute the program. In the time you can allocate the memory that is called as dynamic allocation. Free means you can remove the memory. For suppose reuse the particular memory slot again and again in the time can use free. These are the string handling functions: string reverse, string length, string copy, string concatenation. All are the string handling functions. Okay, the last topic is recursion. Okay, recursion means the function call itself. The same, the self-containing block can be utilized in more than once, again and again. That is called as recursion. That is called as recursive functions. So this is the example for recursive function. In that time, I can find out factorial of the given number. So the logic is the first you can define the body of the function. First you can define return type is integer. The function name is fact. In the time you can use the parameter is n. So you can start the body. If n equal to 0, return 1. The factorial of 0 is 1. So based on that reason, you can define the if n equal to 0, then define return 1 else. So otherwise, you can return n into fact n minus 1. Okay, this is the example for best example for recursive function. You can check it for suppose n value is 3. So what happen? So is entering into the body of the function. If 3 is equal to 0, the condition is false. So is pass into the else block. At that time, return 3 into fact of 2 n minus 1, 2. Again, the fact of 1 is a function. This one is which function? Is a calling function or a called function? So every function and with semicolon is called as calling function. So again, the cursor is immediately entering into the body of the function. So again, you can check it. So in that time, what is the n value? 2. The 2 is equal to 0. Not satisfied. Is entering again 2 into fact of 1. So again, this is the called function. the body of the function again 1 is equal to 0, not satisfied again. So again n into 1 into factor of 0. So again this one is also calling function immediately is passed into the body. So in the time n 0 is equal to 0, true. So what is the value of factor of 0? 1. 1 into 1, 1. So you know the factor of 1 value. The factor of 1 value is 1. So 2 into 1, 2. You know, factor of 2 value. The value is 2. So finally, the factor of 3 value is 6. So this is the process to find out factorial. In that time, you can use recursive function. Okay. The advantages of recursive functions: the more natural and straightforward process, more readable, the program becomes simple and compact. Okay. So it is easily understand. Okay. So in that time, you can use less number of steps to complete the entire problem. Disadvantage. What are the disadvantages of recursive functions? The program becomes slow due to stacking and unstacking. So the multiple times you can utilize the same body. So the program occupies